Hello, and welcome to this video, where we will talk about Chandrayaan 3, India's third mission to the Moon. Chandrayaan 3 is an ambitious project by the Indian Space Research Organisation, or ISRO, to demonstrate its capability of soft landing and roving on the lunar surface. In this video, we will cover some important topics like what is Chandrayaan 3 and why is it important? How will Chandrayaan 3 get to the lunar surface and what are the challenges involved? What will Chandrayaan 3 do on the Moon and what are the scientific objectives and payloads? When will Chandrayaan 3 launch and what are the expected outcomes? So, let's get started. Chandrayaan 3 is the third Moon mission by India's space agency, ISRO. The goal is to place a lander and rover on the lunar surface and operate them for roughly 1 lunar day or 14 Earth days. The small rover, which weighs just 26 kilograms, 57 pounds, will fly to the Moon inside the lander. Both vehicles are equipped with science instruments to study the surface. The Chandrayaan 3 lander and rover are similar in design to those from the Chandrayaan 2 mission. In September 2019, the Chandrayaan 2 Vikram lander successfully lowered itself to within 5 kilometers, 3 miles of the Moon, entering a fine braking mode that would have placed it gently on the lunar surface. Like its successor, Chandrayaan 2 was targeting the Moon's south polar region, where ice has been found inside permanently shadowed craters. Unfortunately, a software glitch caused Vikram to veer off course, and ISRO's officials lost contact with the spacecraft. NASA's Lunar Reconnaissance Orbiter later found debris from the vehicle scattered about 750 meters, a half-mile, from the intended landing area. The mission was not a total loss. Chandrayaan 2 also included an orbiter that continues to study the Moon from above. Among other scientific functions, the orbiter is equipped to scan for water ice. Having figured out what doomed the Vikram lander, ISRO says they have upgraded the lander's software and performed numerous tests to ensure that Chandrayaan 3 goes according to plan. Chandrayaan 3 does not include an orbiter, although the propulsion module that will carry the lander to lunar orbit is equipped with a science instrument that will observe Earth as if it were an exoplanet, providing data for future exoplanet studies. Chandrayaan 3 is important for several reasons. First, it will showcase India's technological prowess and innovation in space exploration. Second, it will contribute to the global scientific knowledge of the Moon, especially its south polar region, which is of high interest for future human missions. Third, it will pave the way for future more ambitious interplanetary missions by ISRO. It was estimated that from liftoff to touchdown, it will take about 40 days to place Chandrayaan 3 on the lunar surface. Chandrayaan 3 is currently on its way to the Moon, after leaving the Earth orbit on August 1st, 2023. Chandrayaan 3 enters translunar orbit as it heads towards Moon for the 23rd of August. The mission starts with a launch aboard India's LVM-3 rocket, the country's heavy lift vehicle capable of placing about 8 metric tons into low Earth orbit. For comparison, the SpaceX Falcon 9 rocket can lift almost 23 metric tons to low Earth orbit. The LVM-3 will place the spacecraft and an attached propulsion module into an elongated Earth orbit with an apogee, or high point, of about 36,500 kilometers, 22,700 miles, above the planet. The propulsion module will raise its orbit several times before transferring into lunar orbit. At the Moon, the propulsion module will lower Chandrayaan 3 until it reaches a circular 100-kilometer, 62-mile orbit. There, the two vehicles will separate, leaving the lander to deorbit and touch down in the Moon's south polar region. At the moment of contact, the lander should be moving less than 2 meters per second vertically and 0.5 meters per second horizontally, 6.5 and 1.6 feet per second respectively. Getting to the lunar surface is not easy. It requires precise navigation and control of speed and orientation of the spacecraft. The lander has to avoid obstacles such as craters and boulders on its way down. It also has to deal with communication delays and uncertainties due to distance and interference from other sources. The landing site itself has to be carefully chosen based on factors such as illumination, temperature, slope, roughness, and scientific interest. ISRO has taken several measures to overcome these challenges. It has improved the lander's software and hardware, including its sensors and actuators. It has also conducted extensive simulations and tests on Earth to validate the performance and reliability of the lander. It has also selected a landing site that is relatively flat and smooth, with good visibility and communication links. A successful touchdown will mark a huge achievement for ISRO, placing them in a small group of nations that have landed spacecraft on other worlds. Beyond this milestone, Chandrayaan 3 has technologies to demonstrate and science to perform. Shortly after landing, one side panel of the Chandrayaan 3 lander will unfold, creating a ramp for the rover. The rover will emerge from the lander's belly, drive down the ramp, and begin exploring the lunar environment. The solar-powered lander and rover will have about 2 weeks to study their surroundings. They are not designed to survive the chilly lunar night. The rover can only communicate with the lander, which communicates directly with Earth. ISRO says the Chandrayaan 2 orbiter can also be used as a contingency communications relay. The rover has 2 payloads: Alpha Particle X-ray Spectrometer, APXS, which will measure the elemental composition of the surface rocks and soil; Laser-Induced Breakdown Spectroscope, LIBS, which will use a laser beam to vaporize a small amount of material and analyze its spectrum. And the lander has 4 payloads: Radio Anatomy of Moon-Bound Hypersensitive Ionosphere and Atmosphere, RAMPA, which will study the plasma environment near the surface and its interaction with the solar wind; Chandra's Surface Thermophysical Experiment, CHASTE, which will measure the thermal conductivity and temperature gradient of the surface; Instrument for Lunar Seismic Activity, ILSA, which will detect and record moonquakes and other seismic events; Laser Retroreflector Array, LRA, which will reflect laser signals from orbiting or Earth-based stations to measure the distance and position of the lander. And finally, the propulsion module has 1 payload: Spectropolarimetry of Habitable Planet Earth, SHAPE, which will observe Earth as an exoplanet and measure its spectral and polarimetric properties. Chandrayaan 3's scientific goals encompass comprehending the Moon's genesis and development, with a specific focus on its southern polar region. This mission aims to chart the prevalence and concentration of water ice and other volatile substances within the eternal darkness of craters. Furthermore, it seeks to analyze the landing site's mineral composition, shape, elevation and properties of the surface layer, the exploration of the lunar exosphere, and its interplay with solar wind and dust particles forms an integral part of the mission. Additionally, Chandrayaan 3 endeavors to showcase essential technologies for achieving a soft landing, facilitating exploration by rovers, and enabling on-site analysis on the lunar surface. Chandrayaan 3 is India's 3rd lunar mission, which was launched on July 14, 2023, from the Satish Dhawan Space Center in Sriharikota. Chandrayaan 3 is expected to touch down in the Moon around August 23rd. The landing site is planned to be near the south pole of the Moon, where Chandrayaan 2's Vikram lander had attempted to land in 2019. It will deploy a lander and a rover to explore the lunar surface. Chandrayaan 3 holds within its cosmic grasp a constellation of anticipated achievements. As it delicately descends onto the lunar terrain, it aims to etch India's name alongside the illustrious pioneers of soft lunar landings, marking a momentous leap into the pantheon of spacefaring nations. In this celestial odyssey, it endeavors not only to bolster India's esteemed status as a vanguard of space exploration and inventive prowess, but also to ignite the celestial passions of countless future scientists, engineers, and intrepid wanderers within India's borders and across the globe. By unraveling the Moon's enigmatic secrets, Chandrayaan 3 aspires to enrich the tapestry of global scientific understanding, illuminating the lunar realm's vast potential for forthcoming exploration and the astute utilization of its celestial treasures. We hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please like, share, comment, and subscribe to our channel for more videos on space topics. Thank you for watching.